And welcome back, guys. Today we have Trevor Nemkovic, the 11th place. Wait, was it 11th or 10th?
It was 11.
11th place finish at the Oviedo Regional today. Very impressive with our boy,
The Whitebeard. The GOAT is
the
back.
Gramps.
He never died. Realistically, he just never died. He just went to bed for a bit.
So a little bit of context, Trevor went on this entire character arc of like trying to accept that he had to play like a black deck like Sakazuki or Gecko Moria through this format. And yeah, look at where we are now.
It felt like the longest arc of my life, but it really wasn't. It was only like 2 months. Ended on this decision because after Kissimmee, I just wasn't enjoying Gecko. I've never enjoyed Sokka, and I just hate the color yellow. So we ended up just going back to the Gramps. We did do some changes though. It's not the same 50 card list that everybody's used to seeing, so there is some changes. Kind of excited to go over them, and we'll get into those now. Standard stuff though that does never change is if you're playing Whitebeard right now, it's 4 and 4 of each searcher for now. Going into EBO1, this is probably going to change. I have some ideas that I would like to test out. Don't know if they're going to work because Anel's going to be back in the meta, and we know that that's the reason kind of Whitebeard disappeared. Other than that, though, we'll kind of show a future plan or future list maybe for that if you guys are interested. But going into the search targets for Nami specifically, there's 17 for each target or for each searcher. Nami gets to go ahead and search some of the events for us though. So it's 4 Rad Beam, 1 Guard Point, and 1 Bad Manners. Realistically, today the Guard Point never came up as a guard point. Rad Beam was insane as always. Bad Manners Kick Course did come up as a 0 cost. So maybe the one change I do make, funny enough, is maybe changing this to either another 0 cost or adding another Luffy, adding a Sanji Rusher, adding a 3rd Nico Robin. You'll see those ratios as we go forward. But I don't think other than that, like the events, this is the only dead, like this felt like the only dead event today. Everyone kept seeing in 10s at me, it was kind of, or 9s at me, it was kind of annoying. Search targets going forward though is 2 Nico Robin. Card was insane today into my, it did really well into the Gecko player that I had that was playing Rebecca. That was an amazing thing. And then I got to go ahead. Other than that, though, it didn't come up today at all, but always glad to have it. It's always just nice to be able to pop a 2K blocker or 1K blocker.
Or Sokka too, right?
Yeah, so it is really good into Sokka. Unfortunately, I only played 1 Sokka today, and my Sokka player that I played against, me and him were just playing hit face, kind of, because he saw 4 Hound Blazes, and I saw 4 Rushers. So it was just like who could hit each other harder the first. I ended up taking that, but I'll talk about that game here in just a bit. We were on 2 Fossa. I'll go over the ratios on the blockers here in just a bit. But for now, we'll go ahead and go. Next is 2Ks. 2Ks, we did do 8 searchable 2Ks, 4 for Izo, 4 for Nami, standard stuff. For this, we did go for the 5 drops in the deck for the list. We did 3 Rush Luffy and 3 5-drop Marco. I was really shitting on this card going into this tournament. I was hating this card. I don't know what it was, but just something was drawing me away from this card. All day today, though, this card overperformed. Every time I played the card, it popped the body. Every time it took 2 to 3 cards out of the opponent's hand, or it took so much of a distraction from the opponent, so that maybe the next turn I can go Luffy, I can go Ace into Ace, because of just how annoying this card was. And then into the Gecko Moria matchup, it just it mops Gecko Moria. They can't remove it, and if they try to remove it, I think it was my round 3 opponent. He was upset because all he really could do was pop the Marco while I had an Ace on board. He removed it, and funny enough, that's where Guard Point was the most useful, is I pitched it for the Marco revive. I don't know why I ever thought about cutting it. Insane card today.
Were you actually killing anything relevant off of this, or is it mostly just the fact it revived?
You know what? Brand news are so fucking annoying, especially whenever you're playing the Sokka matchup, and that's what happened. This guy opened 4 Hound Blazes, or he had 4 Hound Blazes, so it was kind of, I got to play one of these into him to pop a brand new, and it kind of saved 1K counter for my hand and established the body that he felt forced to remove.
Right, because he didn't have something to like buff with Hound Blaze.
Exactly. Going forward, we have 2 Rush Sanji. Never came up. It never came up as a rusher, but I did play it against a Sokka. I did play it against the Sokka player to just force removal so that whenever I could play my 9-beard pretty safely. It turns out I was right. He could not remove the 9-beard, so the 9-beard got to live, and I got to kill him on the crackback. Again, we'll go over the blocker issues in just a bit, but all the blockers that are searchable are on Ezo's side of things. 2 blocker Marco. This came up. I got to revive it once today, but other than that, though, it was pretty much counter today. Fossa and a future card that we'll be going over soon here they were the 2 best blockers in the deck, and we'll get to that in just a bit here. Ace, best card in the deck. I thought 9-beard was the best card in the deck. Fucking Ace is the I slammed 2 of these against 3 or 4 of my opponents today, and they just kind of crumbled. It turns out whenever you play a 7k body that hits them at the same time that you're playing it, does end up folding them. Also, the reason I love this card more into the meta that we're in right now is everyone's expecting you to play Ace and just clear board, but if you just do as long as you're doing your Whitebeard math properly, you can just kind of play Ace, shrink their board, and like kind of just not as a distraction, but as an expectation is they think that you're going to swing into it. But what you end up doing is just going like 6 and 7 into face, and then you do it again the next turn, and that's usually where they die. If you leave as long as you're comfortable leaving the board up and understanding what you're doing, why you're leaving the board up, which is not refilling the trash, because with so many decks relying on their trash, if you can just be smart about it, unless they have extra Luchis, maybe. That's the only time I ever kill a body is if they already have extra Luchis in the trash.
Yeah.
I never kill a 5k body with this today, just because if they're putting 1 Dawn on their card to swing at me, I feel like I'm already winning the game.
You ever kill any 5Ks with your 1-drops?
Yes. Ezo and Nami claimed 3 Kuzans today with Ace.
Nice.
So that was the nicest thing today with the Ace. But I feel like that's given. If a Kuzan's turned sideways and you aced it, just swing at it. It's a Kuzan. Last but not least for the Ezo targets, it's 3 Whitebeard. I saw it in every game that I needed it. The only time that I saw it way too much was into the Sokka matchup. I saw 3 Newgate, 2 Ace, and 1 Rush Luffy into that matchup. So I was bricked up that entire game, and I skin of my teeth to get that game out of my to pull that win. But love the card. Deck overperformed in terms of ratios. I will say though, I whiffed every game. 1 whiff every game on my searchers. But we are running 1 card that actually saved me some cards and helped me recur resources to make sure that even if I whiffed, I didn't feel like I was losing the matchup instantly. 4 Machino, just so we can play the 12 2Ks. And when you're playing 8 searchers, 12 I did get to kill somebody with Machino today, so it's always going to come up. And last but certainly not least, and the reason that I actually was drawn to the deck even more, especially with Black Yellow Leafy being released, was Shiraya.
The Shovel Guy.
Shovel Knight actually, it went. So I didn't play into any Black Yellow Leafy. I can go over my matchups real quick here. I lost to Akata in round 1, but I lost to myself in that matchup. And then I proceeded to go. I went 7-0 because we ended on the 8th round because the down pair won. I played a Yamato, Gecko, and then Kata, Sokka, RP Law. Shiraya came up in every yellow matchup, so the Katakuris aren't checking you for 8k. I'm not giving them 2 cards. I just get to block and give them the 1k, and that's where I was talking about. Where any time that these felt like the one time that they whiffed, or there was actually one game where it was against it was my last Gecko player that I played against in round 5. I missed an Ezo and I missed a Nami back to back, but because I played 2 of these cards, and he ended up being a brick, so I understand that situation is what it was, but because of this, he kept swinging like 8s and 9s on his leader because he didn't really have anything else to do, and it was just I got to save a resource every time whenever he was doing that, and that felt amazing. Kata players, when they would do it, it's like when they strap the 3 or 4 Dawn on their leader, swing 8, 9s, 10s, it's block counter. And it's funny enough, I think it was my other Kata player, he was getting a little annoyed because he would go 8k with leader and be like, yeah, just block, dude, I get it. And block in 1k, I know. An amazing card today. It was for the Black Yellow Leafy matchup, but it's also there for the yellow matchups in general because all of them want to leadering. All of them are leader based, right? I mean, Katakuri's plus 1k. Yamato wants to hit you for face with its leader ability, or just with leader ability. And then, funny enough, because we're in Orlando, it was for the mirror as well. If they get to play new gates and stuff like that, I get to kind of play around the fact that if I don't see a new gate, or if because I'm the second new gate, if I got to pre-play these, then I get
just the bash for 8.
Yeah, I should get the bash for 8, and I get to counter for one card instead. That's the goal. That's the beauty of this card. Is the amount of resources this card saved me today was amazing. The amount of times it swung for numbers that shouldn't be, like just swinging for 5k or 6, just matching your opponent's leader every time is an amazing thing. Changes, like I stated, I think the only change I would make was cut this guard point for another. It would just be another Nami target. I don't know if it would be a raw counter. I don't know if it would be the 4th Luffy or the 3rd Sanji. I don't know what it would be, but this is probably the most cuttable card in terms of the changes that we would make to the list.
I know like the night before testing we were like debating on cutting the Namis and like just trying to go for like a pure beard. Would you do that again? Like, would you still consider doing that after today or nah?
Yes, actually. The Straw Hats actually just super underperformed for me. I would have rather have just like maybe just raw drawed all the events at this point, because realistically there was 3 rounds that I think I won the games without events in my hand. It was just raw natural counter and just me like playing to the most efficient thing possible, taking my life every turn every time they swung, because I just even if I had a new gate, there was how the meta I like to play, some of the decks I like to play into, especially Sokka, I just take everything, because that deck is never just going to strap 10 Dawn on their leader more often than not, and if they do, I feel like I'm not winning that game, but there's a chance for me to open. That's an open window for me to win the game and run away with it. So a lot of times I'll just keep taking my life, and if what I wanted to do, and me and Colin were talking about it, was cut the 4 Namis. And I believe it was cut the 4 Sanjis, and then these would become like fill out the EZO ratios, and then these 4 2Ks would just become Otama. That was a card I was missing heavily today, with specifically the Marco and the Whitebeard. There was some turns where I'm just like, I wish I could just pop the Kuzan. I wish I could just pop a 5k blocker that's just on the board for no reason, when I could easily remove it and I'd have a better time.
Awesome. So throughout the day you lost the first round to yourself, funny enough.
That's the right.
And then you just like ran the tables for the next 7 rounds of the event, which is like incredible. And I think you were the top Whitebeard of that event, because funny enough, you actually weren't the only Whitebeard.
No, there was a good amount of Whitebeard.
Florida men love Whitebeard for some reason.
We love our Whitebeard. There was a lot of Whitebeard players out there. I was discussing throughout the day, like, I was hyping up Shariah when I got there and talking to a few of the people out there, like Evan and Brandon, Garrett, and all them. I was hyping this card up. I believe in this card, and it's the only reason we can play the deck into the Black-Yellow Luffy matchup, in my opinion, because they all said the same thing. It's an auto loss usually. And me and you ran that matchup after Kissimmee Regional 7 times, and you 7-0'd me. I proceeded to push Shariah in the deck, and me and Arvin, I was playing against Arvin, I was just having a way better time.
Yeah, we were starting to actually like take a decent amount of games.
Exactly.
Yeah. It felt more 50-50.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't search it, but the deck draws 15 cards in a game. Like, you should be able to find it or mulligan for it. Just do your best to find it. And if you can't, there's ways to beat Black-Yellow Leafy, don't get me wrong. But this just makes it more consistent.
I would probably run a 4th Whitebeard if we want to start doing the Whitebeard chain.
Absolutely,
again.
Yeah. If we play the pure version, it's definitely filling out the ratios of like the cards that are the most important. I would actually play the 4 Ace and the 4 Whitebeard, and then cut the guard point for another Bad Manners kick course if we were to do like the pure version. Mm-hmm. Fossa, the best 2 blockers were Shariah and Fossa. It was hilarious just playing a Fossa and it getting Houndblaze to me. I loved the fact that Fossa was pulling a Houndblaze. That felt good to me. Because on 7 Dawn, it's like play Luffy, play Fossa. Or there was a 9 Dawn turn that I went double Shariah Fossa and left 1 guard or 1 point or like 1 rad beam up, and that Katakuri player just couldn't do anything at that point. I proceeded to beat his face in with double Shariah, rush Luffy, ace.
Florida man beats regional players with a shovel.
The shovel was beating people alive. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm very happy with the performance. I lost to myself. I think we'll go over it within a podcast, I think, coming up soon.
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
Talking about these last 2 regionals and kind of our personal stories for them. It's hilarious. It really is. But
the story of how we got here was definitely like. Yeah.
I'm on 0 sleep right now, and it's been almost 36 hours. So we're climbing. We're getting there. We're not having a good time, but we're here. We're here. It was a very good day today, though.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again to our very own Sun Pirates Trevor.
Thank you.
11th place at the Oviedo Regional, and hopefully with pass downs should get Stag your invite.
I've already been confirmed by the judges there because of it wasn't the first 5. I think one of the first 5 already had it, but it was already confirmed because 6th, 7th, and 8th, funny enough, of the top 8 already had their invites. So
that's awesome.
We're confirmed on the Nats invite for sure. Which that's an amazing thing because I don't want to play the game anymore.
All right. All right. So 3 out of 4 Sun Pirates with their national invites confirmed. Just one more, myself.
Just one more. We'll get you there.
Well, yeah, we'll get me
We got
there.
some
Hopefully.
regionals left.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll put them through the grinder.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more, and we will see you in the next one.
See you guys.